Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Crossover. Starring Josh Johnson and Chris McGill. Featuring Christina Thorson. And of course, you, the Instagram live chat. Now, sit back and enjoy this week's edition of The Crossover. Powered by Card Ladder.
Is that some F1 slander right here?
I didn't know if you caught that or not. Yeah.
I don't know anything about F1, and all I know is that Max Verstappen wins every race.
Yep. Yes, he does. That the joke around F1 is it's a race to finish. It's a race to figure out who's going to get seventh.
I think there's like some rule change coming in the next year or maybe 2 years where it's supposed to even it out. That's a rumor I've heard. From the show.
You know what I call that? I call that Lewis Hamilton agenda protectionism.
Well, he's probably too old now anyways.
All right. So I had an unusual problem today preparing for the show. I give myself an hour to collect all the questions into a file and look at them a little bit and think about them. And there was at least 20 questions that I didn't have time to get to.
Oh.
So we had a lot of questions. I want to apologize to those 20 question askers in advance. I just can't believe how many questions we had. So I should have prepared better. But, yeah, I'm sorry. I missed some of you guys' questions.
That's what we get from 2 weeks off.
Yeah. All right. But I definitely got most of them. Okay. So with that in mind, that we have a ton of questions to get to tonight, let's start the show right away. So welcome to the crossover. Today is Friday, August 9th, 2024. And we start with mail days. Do you have any mail days?
No, but I know you got a few.
I do. I'm just going to do my national pile, basically. Some of you have already seen some or all of this stuff from social media, but this is for the podcast audience. So first up, we have a 1998 Stadium Club one-of-a-kind Michael Jordan parallel, numbered to 150. We have a 2017 Select Black one-of-one concourse Christian McCaffrey, which obtained raw at the National thanks to Chad of Journer Sports Cards and graded PSA 10, which is very awesome. 2023 Recon Jokic Platinum 1-of-1, PSA 7. Purchased that prior to the National and graded it there. Did not grade this to the National, just bought it there. This is a 2020 Optic Jokic Nebula 1-of-1, PSA 9. Jokic, I think I showed this card when it was raw. May have shown a few of these actually, but now it's graded. I got a PSA 7. Jokic's first Black Finite year, 2023 Select courtside. Luka, this was a grade that offset all the PSA 7s. Luka's 2023 Optic Gold Vinyl 1-of-1, graded a PSA 10 at the show. And finally, another PSA 7, the 2015 Preferred Jokic 1-of-1 Preferred Signatures autograph. So that is the national pile. Had somebody write in a question. I think it was Bill Hot Sauce. He wanted each of us to show 5 cards. There's 6, Bill.
So
how you like them apples?
You lied to Bill. He wanted 5 and you gave him 6.
I one-upped Bill.
Nice. You either get a 7 or a 10. They're like, you know what? 8s and 9s, we got too many of those. We need some 7s.
Yeah. Yep. It is the question of would I rather have gotten 4 PSA 9s or 3 7s and a 10?
But you got 2 10s. You got the McCaffrey.
Oh, right. Yeah. That was so that card was graded at a separate time than the other 4. But yeah, so yeah, I did end up getting 2 10s, 3 7s and 2 10s.
I'd rather have 3 7s and 2 10s, but I think I'd rather have 4 9s. Those 2 10s help.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. Same here. All right. Mail days for you. You said no?
I have the Reese slab. Does that count?
Oh, yeah. Please.
Plus, I don't think I've ever shown that on the show.
Yeah, let's see that.
Well, I showed it on Brett's show, so cat's out of the bag, I guess. 2003 Upper Deck Exquisite gold parallel rookie patch auto LeBron. Reslabbed into a BGS 8.
Banger.
Reslabbed into the silver label. Definitely helps the eye appeal of the card.
The rarest parallel of LeBron's exquisite RPA.
What's your thought on this not being the base set versus the base set 99?
I am in favor of rare parallels. I don't think that they are the true rookie card, but I do think that they are better cards.
Isn't it weird that the base set is like an RPA? It's just a strange thing to most people, but it is.
It is weird, and it was very smart that it was designed that way, I think, so that you can have an RPA that is a true rookie card because it's numbered to the base set. So I think it was really smart that it was architected that way.
And I'm glad it's been carried through the years.
Yeah, indeed. All right. Let's make any card ladder announcements that we might have.
No, we were busy with the National.
We were a little bit busy. First category of topics will be the National. And Mike Pinkerton is going to set it off. His question is, was the National what you thought it would be this year?
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much exactly the same, except for the exit strategy of the cars.
Cars, not cards.
Yeah, the card selection was about what I expected. I didn't get to see every table. It was a lot, but about what I expected.
Fair. Yeah, it was about what I expected too. Super active, packed with people wall to wall during the busy times. And I think I caught myself on a few crossovers leading into this National, sort of cynically dismissing the idea that you can find needle in a haystack cards at the National. And then I did. So I should retract my statement and say that you can find the needle in the haystack once in a while. And for me, that was McCaffrey's Select Concourse Black 1 of 1 rookie. So it does happen.
That one walked up to us.
Yeah.
Hey, you ever heard of this guy?
Right, exactly. Would anybody here happen to collect 1 of 1 rookies of Christian McCaffrey? All right. From Iowa Daily Sports Cards, perhaps one of the most creative questions. I like the thought that got put into this. Quite a bit, actually. So the question is this from Dave. He says, if we framed the hobby like a TV show, with each 12-month period serving as a season, would the National be better positioned as the big season premiere, the first episode, like the Daytona 500 is for NASCAR? Or would the National be better as the season finale, such as the Super Bowl?
This is a clever answer.
Let's go.
I'm very proud of myself. It's like Game of Thrones. They always put the big battle scene the second to last. So you get a little bit of like the build up to the National, and then we get some recaps of how it went after.
I love how you successfully evaded the false dichotomy of premiere or finale, and you said the penultimate episode, the second to last episode. That is great.
I always like the way Game of Thrones did that, because it was like we get some explanation of the battle.
Nice. And so I have not watched Game of Thrones, so my question is the season finale of Game of Thrones then? Is it sort of like the episode in reality TV shows where they bring back the cast and they all...
No. It's more of like let's digest all the crazy twists and all the insane results, and let's like see how the characters turned out after the craziness. Let it unfold a bit, and then they'll have like a teaser at the end, anyways.
Okay, so they still hook you in with a cliffhanger of some sort.
Yeah, but it's well known that that 9th episode is like something big is going to happen tonight.
Nice. All right, that's a great answer. I see the National as the premiere episode.
Okay.
That sets the tone for everything that follows. That's how I look at it. All right. From Kevin M. Cormier. With the success of the evening soccer-focused show during the National, do you foresee more niche shows for segments of collectors underrepresented at the main show? Or will the National crack down on that? And I'll give $10 to your favorite charity if you can answer this question without belittling soccer collectors.
Well, I don't want to have to disappoint a charity and have to pick one, so I guess that means I have to make fun of soccer.
Were there soccer collectors at the National?
Yeah, they were. All 10 of them were at this event. Rodman's like, look at all of us. I can barely fit us in this picture. It's like, yeah.
Kevin, I'll donate $10 to your favorite charity. How about that?
Why would the National crack down on this?
I think the National is fairly or unfairly concerned that they're the reason that brought everybody to the area, and they're hosting trade nights most nights, if not every night, and they have all the dealers in their building, and so if they're setting up a quote unquote competing show, it may upset them a little bit. I'm not sure there's much they can do, but it may upset them.
Well, this is America. I'm not sure it works like that.
Right.
Well, there was a trade night in the downstairs area, and I saw a section that said soccer cards, but I didn't see anyone following the rules. So maybe if we had a better rule enforcement, we could have had a soccer trade night there. David
Marino would appreciate it if you guys would follow the rules.
Follow the signs, people. No, I think these are great. Like the National, what it ends up being is like a agreed upon meeting location, and then once everyone gets to the city, we all aggregate at the show itself and then sort of branch out into our subcommittees and parties. So this is always what's going to happen.
It is always what's going to happen. Do you want to talk a little bit about, so I saw Brian in the chat mentioning that the National wasn't maybe the biggest fans of the after show. Do you remember how that went down? There was the Wednesday night at the Aviator, and then...
Oh. Well, that one was just because the demand was far exceeding the location size. I mean, they ran into like issues with the fire marshal, right? They had to kick everybody out because there was over 1,000 people, and there was another 1,000 waiting outside trying to get in.
Yeah. Yep. And I think that it's a good problem to have in the long term, but I think it really sucks for people who were hoping to have that second show as a place to see the inventory of the dealers who weren't able to get space to the National due to limitation of tables available. But still, some more impromptu trade nights sort of did pop up. But it's kind of hard to hear about some of those too. So I definitely like what you said about branching off into subcommittees. And I do think that I didn't know about the soccer-focused show or after show or trade night or however exactly that played out, but it makes perfect sense to me that collectors would, like you said, they would branch off and gather, and it only makes sense. That's obviously a more efficient way to make the deals that they want to make.
These organizers of these events are still, years after the pandemic, like wildly undervaluing how many people show up to these events. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, yeah, let's just keep going to these small venues and like hope it works out.
Yeah.
It's difficult to get. Like, it's time to up the location sizes of these places. We need to start going to like bigger venues, cities that are more accommodating of airfare and hotel. Like, there's tons of cities that can handle this volume. We had 100,000 people show up to this thing, and we thought it would just like work itself out.
Yeah. And it didn't, and the traffic jam on Wednesday night was a little panic-inducing, But
shouldn't the cities be like, you know how the cities always vie for the Olympics? They're like, come to our city so we can get this influx and this economic boost. Shouldn't we be seeing that for some of these? Like, you're getting 100,000 people sent into your city, spending a ton of money. These people have money. Maybe I'm not understanding economics.
nah, it makes sense to me. Brian also says that I know they had a non-sports trade night and an F1 trade night too.
Look at that. There's like 8 trade nights.
Yeah. And it makes complete sense that happens. I think there's a really nice balance between like being part of the free-for-all where the United Nations event, which is the main national where every segment is heard from. And if you want to like brush into those other segments, you can. But then afterwards, people section off into their quadrants. I just think that makes a lot of sense. I would be a little worried if I wouldn't want to enclose myself too much into my one group. Part of the cool part about the National is that you see stuff that you're not normally exposed to. You hear other points of view as well.
Right. True.
Okay. From Goats and Gronk, not Groats. Is there any data that can be shared on Nat's free look crossover service at the National? What percentage of cards successfully crossed over? Was 9.5 to 10 the most popular crossover attempt, etc.?
They don't share the percentages of the data. I would imagine just from hearsay that it's like 10 to 20%, something like that. Does that sound right?
Yeah. My success rate is lower, but I think that does. I usually hear about people trying to cross like 7 and 1 or 2 cross.
You're exactly. I think we were standing there, and I don't want to say names, so I won't. But there was someone that had like 7. I think he crossed 2.
Exactly.
And he was kind of upset, and Nat said to him, like, you should be happy. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
If you cross from 2 instead of 1, you literally doubled what other people are getting.
Right. Exactly. And it's difficult to accurately see the card through the plastic of the non-PSA holder, and for the graders to feel comfortable enough that it does meet the standard, and the standard is high already. And
I would have thought that Nat would be using ChatGPT to help him write these articles and get them out quicker, but we're still waiting weeks after the National.
Yep, we are. It's been 2 weeks. How long has it been?
2 weeks, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's like, come home, you decompress for a while, and then you're back in the swing, and all of a sudden here we are 2 weeks later.
It is funny that you say that, because just before I came on, he tweeted that he's working on the top 100 cards. All right.
If it were me, I'd be working on it now as well. Like I would need the 2 weeks to.
Right, and he sent out some cards that didn't make the cut.
Like an honorable mention of the top 100.
Yep, some honorable mentions. Yep.
So then, are we to believe that he's getting like 1,000 submissions or more?
I think he looks through every card that was graded by PSA at the National.
Okay.
Right.
So it's not just for his thing.
Yeah. It's not just the crossover.
Got it.
The free look crossovers.
Got it.
Yeah. So I think it's a ton. And I also think it's a really, really smart policy for a grading company to offer this. I think it's very smart, and Nat and PSA have had a lot of success with it over the last 2 years.
And it has this feeling to it that he's kept going, of like this exclusivity to it, the privacy, having to go straight to Nat, which I'm sure he obviously enjoys as a collector, seeing this stuff personally.
Yep.
But he was getting help from Mikey in the hobby. He was helping build some tech to improve the efficiency of it. So it's like behind the scenes getting more efficient, but to the public, it still has this kind of underground exclusive feel to it, which is cool.
It is cool. All right. Next question here from Hauser 1921 Collection. I've heard for years of dealers that set up and don't sell anything, or are almost there just to show off cards or to brag about all the years that they've been there. With everyone saying that they have seniority, would maybe a type of Hall of Fame section or a gallery be a good idea? Now, to be clear, I'm not saying that any of these people deserve to be in a Hall of Fame, just that maybe blow some smoke up their ass and cater to their ego and open up some tables. What are your thoughts?
Just like shove them in a corner and call it the Hall of Fame corner.
Like, hey, look, this is better, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame now. Go over here.
There's like one light or something, and it's like awkwardly smashed in a corner.
You each get to bring one card.
It seemed like there was a lot of like ideas floating around, both between us as a group, and then like we heard a lot of ideas of ways to improve it. It does seem like there's this pent up demand for subtle improvements here and there.
Yeah, I think it's hard to turn away somebody who has seniority. I think seniority is one of the fair systems for allocating tables. But I also think that it's unfair and unwise to turn away new dealers, especially when a lot of them have really good inventory that would obviously add value to the experience for showgoers. So I say cut corporate and bring in the card dealers. And if that doesn't work, then get a bigger venue.
That was my solution that I said at dinner was like, I have an idea. What if we just let everybody set up and have a much bigger venue? Like people who would not want that? Who would be like, nah, you know what? Too much. I have to walk too much. I hate this.
Right. I think it was a national or two ago. We were just sort of like musing on the idea of just get a big open hall and just put chairs and tables and
So
that's it.
I can understand how that might not go over as well. The sort of like open trade night chaos, but yeah, I don't know. Just get a bigger space because they're like, oh, we've got a backlog of 200 tables or whatever. We have this backlog of 200 people waiting, and then we had to kick out 400 tables. Just get a bigger room.
Yeah. Yep.
If the
All right.
If convention was double the size of what we just went to, what would your reaction be? If it was literally double the size?
Hopefully, if it was double the size, that would mean that there wouldn't be dealers who weren't able to set up.
No, you personally, as a show goer, like, what's your reaction to that? Like, ugh, or this is great?
I think it's great. It complicates my experience a little bit just because it makes things harder to find and things are further away and
yeah.
The lines at the bathrooms might be even worse.
There's one fucking bathroom at this place, dude.
Yeah, this was the show of the secret door because there was the secret exit, to get out of the venue. Okay, and then there may have been a few other secret doors, but
like the Indiana Convention Center has like 7 bathrooms.
Yeah. Okay, that's better. That's way better.
And the bathrooms are outside in like the hallway space, so you would have like people that could go to the hallway to rest and like decompress, look over their cards, talk with other people, use the restrooms, get some food, back into the space where it's like clearly separated. This is where the cards are. It's just, I don't know. Like stuff has been solved. It's already been solved. The bathroom line and the food line was in the middle of the whole thing, and it just made it really clogged and awkward. And
dude, that's insane. First of all, bathroom and food, don't shit where you eat.
Right? I didn't even think about it till it's so annoying. So
just like the mix of smells is insane.
It's like right next to it.
And then second of all, bathroom and food should not be centralized. They should be on the periphery.
Exactly. I'm literally separated. I just kept getting this feeling like, my God, we're pretending like we are in the 90s, but we have an industry that's not. It just doesn't line up.
No. Wouldn't it be fun if just like, because I'm going to be completely honest, this was a take that I was workshopping at the National. I'm just gonna bring it out here. I don't think Rosemont is that nice either.
Oh, that take needs some legs, my friend.
Yeah, I don't think Rosemont is that great. I think the IX Center might be a slightly nicer convention center. It doesn't. It has functioning AC.
Yeah.
And the big perk of Rosemont is that there's nice hotels close by. But you know what? downtown Cleveland had the Huntington Convention Center, which is over 500,000 square feet. It's built into the ground of the city. It's beautiful. I mean, you can just walk out to take a break from the show, get fresh air, have views of Lake Erie, have views of the Browns Stadium. You could walk over to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for an afternoon. It was just, and then that convention center sat open the entire week.
So I was so angry when you pointed out to me that right there was I was like, it's right fucking here. Oh my god.
Insane too. It's built into there's like a beautiful
awesome.
green space and park on top of it. It's built into the ground. It's amazing.
The part that was not built in the ground looked brand new and modern, and then we drove to a big brown steel cage, basically.
Yeah, I think it would be cool to just splurge just 1 year. We don't have to do it every year. But just splurge 1 year and just get a fancy, beautiful convention center that has all the nice hotels right next to it.
Because I think the complaint there is like, oh, they have to make dealers pay more. They would pay more. That's how markets work. That's how it works. The price goes up when the demand is up. Like I don't understand. I don't get it.
Yep. Dude, there's people walking around with 401ks and backpacks.
I know.
Like, come on. Like, these people would pay a few extra more dollars to go.
I get that it's nonprofit, but if you need to cover the expense, raise the price to the dealers. And if they don't pay, then other dealers will. We already know they will. There's a fucking huge line of dealers waiting to pay more. People are offering $1,000 to secretly get badges. Like,
that's so true. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
All right.
You didn't hear that from me, though.
No. Anything else you want to say about the National?
I had something, but I forgot. It'll come back to me. I'll randomly interrupt you and shout it out.
That's right. Put a pen in it, and we'll get back to it. There was one more National adjacent question, which is from the Heat Collector. Are you guys going to Fanatics Fest? Josh, you are not, right?
No, you guys are, right?
Yep, we will be there Friday and Saturday, and I think there's some trade night stuff going on Thursday night and Friday night, but I don't know the details. I never know the details, but all right.
Can you get me Derek Jeter's autograph?
No.
I want him to sign a basketball.
A basketball?
Yep.
Why would you have Derek Jeter sign a basketball?
That's hilarious.
Okay. Next topic we have here about the signers at Fanatics Fest. The list is insane.
It's insane. It really is insane.
Yeah. The list of signers is it's like Durant is one of the signers, for example.
Isn't Brady going to be
Brady is definitely going to.
He's not signing though, right?
I don't know if he's signing or not. But the other thing about Brady is like the Brady thing's lost a little bit of its luster just because he's done a lot of Fanatics related stuff now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
He's not rare anymore.
He's not, no. Okay. Now the Olympics. From 612 Gems. Do the Olympics matter?
For like card prices, or is that?
That's all I got. Four words. Do the Olympics matter?
Well, let me look at Carmelo Anthony's card prices real quick. Any Manu Ginobili fans out there? I know people are like, oh, that made like his legacy and stuff. His cards are pretty cheap.
Yeah, I think Manu Ginobili is the go-to example for how you can have a totally epic gold medal run, and it still is just, it's not even if NBA players' legacies were like a resume that you applied to a job with, it wouldn't make your front page of your resume. It would go on page 2.
Unless you're Carmelo. Because he's like always talks about it.
Yeah. And he should. He had some great Olympic runs.
It obviously matters for like these other sports because it's like the only time that people watch it. But it does kind of feel like I get really excited about it for 2 weeks and then I admittedly like won't watch water polo ever again. So
Right. Yep. But yeah, it is the pinnacle for lots of sports, but probably not for any of the sports that we in the hobby collect most heavily. Hockey, baseball, basketball, and football. I don't think the Olympics represent the pinnacle for any of those.
And even like tennis and golf, those sports have a lot of like legacies on the line for those athletes, and those guys treat it as like the for sure. There's like the four majors in golf and tennis. This Olympics is seen as like the very distant fifth, if not like further down the list.
Yeah. All right. From Jesse J. Pender, what are your overall thoughts on Olympic basketball? Can you apply anything to the upcoming NBA season, such as Jamal Murray is not looking great, LeBron still has it, etc.? I do have a take on this. Do you have?
Yep.
Okay. Here's my take.
You can't say I have a take and then just you gotta fire it off.
All right, I'll fire it off. Jamal Murray did not look great in the Olympics, but you know who else didn't look great but didn't get any of the flack? Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards scored 2 points in his most recent Olympic outing in 13 minutes played, and he's like the eighth man on the Olympics team, although he said he was the number one option. So if we're going to be hard on Jamal Murray for having a poor Olympics, and there's no doubt he did, there's a lot of guys who are having poor Olympics. You want to know another one? Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is getting CD DNPs left and right in the Olympics. And then you want to know who else was having a really rough Olympics, who was averaging 7 points a game prior to his most recent game? Stephen Curry. So I just don't find any value in reading into Olympic performances. There's a few decades worth of guys like Rubio performing amazing on the international stage, and it just, for whatever reason, not translating to dominant performances in the NBA.
I have a take on this. Yeah. On this part.
Let's go. Go ahead. I'm done. That's my take.
Oh, you can keep going. Mine. I just wanted to put a pin to remind myself. You're good.
No, go for that. That's all I wanted to. All I want to say is Bill Simmons, the Podfather, who put out 2 pods this week, and we were all very grateful. he was real rough on Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
And keep the same energy, man. Anthony Edwards has sucked. He, in the biggest game, he was a no-show. So, can we write off the Timberwolves? Can we write off the Timberwolves now?
I wish he was a no-show. He was an active deterrent for the game. Like, he literally had the 2 worst turnovers in the game, the 2 only turnovers they had in the first quarter. He missed 2 wide-open threes. He was actually, hurting them. All right. Jamal Murray was 3 of 13, and this is part of my take. And the other thing that Bill said is he's so confused as to why Dennis Schroeder, Yabusele, and some of these guys are playing so well. And my take is that these guys that we're seeing that are playing really well, the reason that they're playing so well is they're finally getting volume and opportunity. Like, Dennis Schroeder sits on the bench. Yabusele's not even on an NBA team. All these guys that we're watching, all these players, they're actually all very, very good. They're all very talented guys. They're professional basketball players. They play overseas in professional leagues. They get paid to play. They're all very good. Just that when they get to the NBA, they don't get any opportunity. And you know how I know this is true? Because guys like Tatum, Edwards, Halliburton, these guys are phenomenal players in their own teams, but they're not doing jack shit on this team because they have no opportunity. They have no time. They have no way to get into a rhythm. There's no possible way you can have 12 guys on a team all perform what they expect to. And it's the same thing that happens in the NBA. When Schroeder goes to the NBA, he's not going to be the starting point guard anymore. So his numbers are going to come down. And to Bill, that means he sucks and his skill doesn't translate to the NBA, or he's just not getting the opportunity. once upon a time, Dennis Schroeder was a good NBA player. When he was a starting point guard for the Hawks, he played very well for the Lakers in the playoffs. If he gets the chance, he is very good. Yabusele was drafted 16th overall in the NBA. Like, he's an NBA player. He's then just come out of nowhere, and all of a sudden he knows how to play basketball. He's getting opportunity. He played 30 minutes. He had 9 shots, 9 field goals, 9 free throws, 22 points. Like, he's getting chances, so he's performing. My take is that we saw it with Serbia. People are like, oh, USA should have blown them out. These guys are bums. I've never even heard of them. Well, they're actually pretty good. They're just they're a step below, so they're not getting the same opportunities as USA, so we don't know them as well. So then, they're not putting up the same numbers. They're not getting the same money. But now that they are elevated on their own team, they're performing well.
Yeah, I love that take. I completely agree with that take. And I have if that take is a mansion, I'm just going to build a garage in the backyard of it.
A garage? How do you even, like a bat cave?
Yes, I'm going to put a bat cave on it. And you don't have to agree with this or not, because I'm sort of going to take it even a little bit of a step further. I think one of the reasons why players like Rubio, Schroeder, Bogdanovich, some of these guys, they come off the bench when they're in the NBA and stuff, is because they are not world-class MVP caliber players. And if you're an international player and you're not so insanely good that you force the team to build itself around you,
right,
then the politics of the locker room, which I don't think is a big deal, but I think there is a level of culture and politics of the locker room, of the general manager's office. If you watch the New York Giants Hard Knocks on HBO, it's amazing how many opinions the general manager was taking in from people on the staff who were just regurgitating things that they had heard on ESPN. I just think that there's a preference, a bias, not necessarily intentionally, but culturally built in, that is going to prefer the players who come from this area, who have played together, who speak the same language, who are able to communicate better, have better chemistry together. It's if you're not a guy that you have to build a whole team around, then you might be good enough to be a starter if you were born here and you were part of the culture here, but you're going to be a 6th, 7th, 8th man because you're not fitting quite as well as somebody who's born here, speaks the language, etc.
I do agree with this take. I'm thinking about I think you said it, so if this isn't what you meant, correct me, but I think if you're the top of the top, you can't really ignore that. Like Luka and Jokic, they're just gonna push their way through because they're too good. But maybe at this 5th or 6th to 12th best guys, these general managers would rather give the contract to a local, Grayson Allen for the Suns versus an Ivramovic who looked good. He played great in this game. They would rather have Grayson Allen than that guy. I think, is that what you're saying? It's sort of on the fringes.
Yeah, that's definitely a factor. And I think those guys, look, your 20s and 30s are great years of your life. In terms of, having fun, partying, meeting a potential partner, etc. And to grow up in a country, speak a different language, enjoy different foods, live in a different time zone, have all your family and friends, have gone to college there, school there, and then you're just going to go to another country.
Yeah.
The money is a huge factor that should and will recruit a lot of people. But I think there's a lot of people too who are just well, I can stay here. EuroLeague doesn't pay that bad. I remember Nikola Mirotic got a $60 or $70 million contract to play in the EuroLeague. And at that point, it's you got sick of getting punched in the face by Bobby Portis?
Yeah.
And you're going to go take $70 million over there?
Okay. And to expand on that, if you're not a top 2 guy on a team, I was going to say 3, but literally if you're not top 2, you're just not going to get the opportunity and volume to really build up a statistical, volume to be able to make an all-star team, et cetera, et cetera. And then if you just look at what happened to Jason Tatum in this example here, he was basically being asked to be a defender of a wing and stand in the corner, which a lot of guys in the NBA are happy to take that role. But a Mirotic or some of these guys, it's I could either be the top 2 in the EuroLeague, make a little bit less, live close to my family or stand in the corner on an NBA team. Like,
Right.
you know, that's just like the math just sort of lines up where some of those guys may be forced out by American GMs, but also like, you know, they choose the lifestyle of being a top player. It's like Jimmer going to China and scoring 60 points, or he comes here and just everyone shits on him all the time.
Yeah. You know who did an amazing job in these Olympics he's a superstar in the NBA, but on the Olympic team he's a role player, but he just embraced it so well was and not that a guy deserves a ton of credit for this, but like I do notice that he did it, was Devin Booker.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool that he accepted that and he did it.
He's another example. Would you say he's like the fifth option on this team? Fifth or sixth?
Fifth or sixth, yeah.
And on this, I watch every Suns game. He is the number one option all the time.
Yeah.
His usage rate for the Suns is probably like 29 or 30. For this team, it's like 15. So he literally is losing half of his fucking opportunity. So your numbers are just going to be shit. Like, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, he's a bona fide role player. You know, his job is to play really aggressive perimeter defense, to run really hard in transition, and to set aggressive screens and to come off of aggressive screens and make open threes.
There's only one ball, dude. There's literally only one basketball. Like, when LeBron dribbles the ball the whole game and then passes it to Curry, you know, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, like, well, hey guys, let me go one-on-one real quick.
So it's like, oh, Booker is playing. Like, Bill's take was literally that like Dennis Schroeder is better than Devin Booker, to boil it down.
Yeah.
In the FIBA rules, and it's like, yeah, he has better numbers in FIBA because he's the starting. You know what I mean? Like, it's just different, dude.
Yep. All right. From Geechee Cards, please discuss how much fun it is to root for Stephen Curry.
This question's for me, apparently.
I think so, yeah.
Well, it wasn't very much fun in the first 4 games.
Right.
Or 3 games. Yeah. 4 games.
You were rooting, it just wasn't fun because nothing was going in.
Yeah. I said to you before the tournament, you remember this? I was like, this fucking guy better make every goddamn 3. Because whenever I watch him play, I got to watch him dance around the court making all these threes. Now that I'm rooting for him, he better make every goddamn 3. And then he wasn't, but then he did.
Yeah. I was not rooting for Stephen Curry or for quote unquote Team USA. And this has become a big topic. Like, Kevin Durant is upset that people aren't rooting for Team USA, who are Americans. And he got called out for some hypocrisy because he was rooting for Usain Bolt a few years back. And then Dave Portnoy came out and said he's not rooting for Team USA because he's rooting for France to beat Team USA because his loyalty is to Jason Tatum and not Steve Kerr and the rest of the players on the team. So this has become like an issue that's really it's like really low stakes, but it's interesting and it's good, I think, that players on Team USA, like Kevin Durant had some comments about he saw some of the other teams, they had fans in the arena, they all chant the national anthem together, they sing it together, and he was like, I want that. And then he made a comment, and he was like, you know, the United States, it's not always a great place, but actually sometimes it is, or he said something to that effect. And I just think it is kind of cool that the players on Team USA are like, hey, wait a minute, you guys aren't just like rooting for us right now? Like, we don't like that. We want you to root for us. Now, I don't think Kevin Durant's approach is going to – I think you catch more flies with honey, but it is – I like seeing that Team USA guys are not pleased that not everybody's rooting for them. Because sometimes you get the feeling that, like, these guys don't care about whether we root for them or not.
Yeah.
That they're going to win no matter what. They don't need us. Who cares? But they do care, or at least Kevin Durant does.
They're always screaming at, getting all upset about fans in the NBA arenas, like, you know, trash talking, and then Russell Westbrook's always yelling at them. They always seem to be upset at the fans, and then now they're wanting the opposite. But also, these guys all make like $50 million a year, and they literally rented out an entire hotel just for their basketball team, and the rest of the Olympians are staying in the village. So it's like you guys wanted the special treatment, and now you want us to like treat you like regular Olympians. Come on.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, all right.
Come on. Fuck Team USA. That's a little bit much.
All right. Splendid Sports Card says, who makes the all-time USA men's basketball starting five? 1992, Michael Jordan. 1992, Charles Barkley. 2008, Kobe. 2012, LeBron. 2016, Durant. So we gave five guys: Jordan, Barkley, Kobe, LeBron, and Durant from each of their best years, ostensibly. Do you want to? I don't really have much to add to this. I'm nowhere near a scholar of Team USA.
Dude, Carmelo, what the heck?
Carmelo, yeah, that's a good. Maybe he's the sixth man or something on that team. The other problem is that who's going to guard the other team's five for the whole game?
Yeah.
LeBron can do it in stretches. Barkley could do it in stretches. Durant could do it in stretches. But like, you might want a center at some point if you're going up against France or Serbia or whoever. That would be my one concern here is you need a center.
I know who I got for the 12th man.
All right.
Jason Tatum. He's very good at sitting there and taking up space and looking grumpy.
Yeah,
Someone
that's good.
Commented that like all the players had their warm-ups off except him, and it looked weird.
Yes. I think that was Bill. I think that was a Bill take.
Yeah, he was like, he didn't know what to say. He's just like, yeah.
and then he did a thing where he's like, well, Tatum's not going to play in 2028 now.
Oh, wow. We're so scared. Oh, no. What are we going to do without him? What the hell is Team USA going to do without him? Oh, my God.
I'll tell you what they're going to. Well, okay. So Joel Embiid.
Oh, my God. This is the stupidest take.
Yeah,
go ahead.
He was really good.
One guy. It's one guy.
He was really good in the last game. Was not so good in some of the other games. He has come out and said that next Olympics, which is in Los Angeles, he may be playing for Team Cameroon.
That's how the Olympics work. You don't have to like be born there and live there your whole life.
But how do you get to change countries every 4 years? Don't you have to pick one?
I don't know.
I think you do. I think you have to pick one. But the good news is Team America is going to be in shambles when they don't have LeBron, Curry, and Durant. Recruit Luka.
They won. They won it last time without those guys.
Yes, they did.
In Tokyo.
Yes, they did. But I don't remember who's on the Tokyo team.
It was like
didn't they have?
It was like Tatum, Booker,
Lillard was on that team, I think.
Durant, Drew Holiday, Draymond.
Yeah, but if you look at like last year, which like didn't have Tatum, but like there was a team that had in FIBA that had Tatum and Mitchell and like a bunch of the step down guys, and they got seventh. And then last year in FIBA, they didn't even medal, and I think they got fourth. And they had Edwards and Halliburton, although Halliburton wasn't starting. So like they're definitely gonna be in trouble in 2028. We'll have to see what the other nations' rosters look like, but it ain't going to be no more 15-point favorites and potential in games leading to medal games.
Yeah, I mean the gap has gotten slimmer every time. Like it's just going to keep down that path, and like you said, you're having the top three guys like phasing out, so it just makes sense. But they did win without those three last time.
Yeah.
Wait, Durant was in the team, so they won without Curry and LeBron.
Yeah, it's pretty good, but they're gonna have a hard time in 2028.
But Luka might play for USA. He lives here now.
That's right. That's if Embiid can be a free agent and play for America 1 year, and they don't win that game against Serbia without Embiid. 8 of and he was killing it in the fourth quarter. So
I do find it hypocritical to be like, well, Team USA, these guys stink. Who cares? Fuck this team. But yet, all these international guys seem to love it here, and they want to live here, and they want to play for Team USA. So, like, there is this, pot calling the kettle black here a little bit. Like, yeah, fuck these guys. They just like take all the best players from all these countries. But you know what? I'll do it too. I'll just go there. It's fine. I'll live there.
Yeah, I don't think players should do that.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. Like Luka played in Spain when he was 13. Embiid came over to America when he was 16. Luka could play for Spain under that same reasoning, but I wouldn't like it.
What's the Embiid France thing? What is that?
He has some French citizenship too.
Why?
I don't know. Why? So that he can pick what team he's on so he can win.
Well,
that's why.
This is the same thing. Like, France is booing him.
Yeah. Good for them.
France is booing him, but they would gladly cheer him if he was playing for them. So, like, you don't want him to switch countries, but you do if it's your country. No. Got it.
It's not a true boo. It's a conditional booing.
Right.
They're only booing.
It's not like it.
Yeah.
They're not like, go play for Cameroon, you bum. They're like, no, you play for us. I mean, come on, you lived here that 1 year.
Yeah. So I will say this about Embiid. I understand the point of view, like, hey, he came to America when he was 16. He's declared citizenship here. This is the team that he wants to play on. Okay, fine. So you're an American athlete. 4 years later, you're going to be an athlete for a different nation? No. That is not the spirit of the Olympics. The spirit of the Olympics is you represent a country, and you represent the people of the country,
right.
And you play for something bigger than yourself. You play for something bigger than sports. Hopping from country to country is not doing any of that. That's just, well, I got to win. I got to go play with LeBron and Curry, two of the best players of all time, and I got my gold medal. And now I'm going to go. Now I'm going to go play over here.
He's going to care in 10 years if he has that gold medal. It's going to be a Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony has 4 of them. Nobody gives a shit. All right, I also have another nit to pick with Embiid.
Let's go.
He did score 7 points straight in the fourth.
He did.
Sandwiched in between 2 of the worst defensive rebound efforts I've ever seen, which led to 4 direct points and a turnover where he dribbled the ball out of bounds with nobody touching him.
Yeah.
So there's minus 6 points plus 7. Anthony Davis would not have done that bullshit. Right. And Curry would have hit a 3 instead of Embiid dribbling out of bounds.
All right.
He actually cost them a point. That's I made that up, but that's a
I like that. That's a good counter. All right. Okay, this is an interesting question from Wookie Hunter. He wants to know, is 24 the real dream team? Or I guess other people have phrased it sort of, is 2024 the best men's Olympic basketball team of all time? And so I just said, why don't we just look at the rosters and just go from there? All right, so we know that this year's roster, we'll get to them in a second. Here's the 92 roster, Barcelona Olympics. Charles Barkley, MVP, top 30 player of all time, I think. Larry Bird, multiple-time MVP, top 5 player of all time. Clyde Drexler, I think he's like a top 50 player of all time. Patrick Ewing, he's like a top 50 of all time. Magic Johnson, multi-time MVP, top 5 player of all time. Michael Jordan, multi-time MVP, top 3, top 2 player of all time. Karl Malone, multi-time MVP, top 20, 25 player of all time. Scottie Pippen, okay, he sucks.
I'm good. I was waiting for this. Top 1,000 player of all time.
David Robinson, MVP, top 30. John Stockton, the all-time steals and assists leader. The Iron Man, top 20 or top 30. Like, the number of people who are on this team who are like top 20 or top 30 is insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. Now, some of these guys were at the end of their career.
Right.
And they were not at the peak of their powers. So that applies to Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, in particular.
Yeah.
Okay. But here's this year's team. LeBron James, top 3, top 2 player of all time, same as MJ. Stephen Curry, top 10, 15 all time, maybe a little bit higher depending. Kevin Durant, same thing, top 10, top 15 all time. Then we have Bam Adebayo, Devin Booker, Anthony Davis. He's like top 50, top 75. Anthony Edwards, Joel Embiid is definitely top 75. Halliburton, Holiday, Tatum. Tatum's probably, I don't know where he's at. And then Derek White. So, like, maybe these guys will continue to blossom, and they will eventually, this roster, like, when we'll look back on it, we'll say it had half a dozen top 20 all-time players, but it does not right now. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
So
I don't understand where this is coming from. The 2024 is the best because I'm pretty sure 2008 and 12 and 16 and 20 were ever trailing by 17 points, like late in the
that's
third
a
quarter.
good point. Yeah, it's a good point too. Yeah, that's good. I don't have pulled up 08 and 12, and like let's not go through those lists now, but maybe one of those teams does.
I think the 2020 team like lost to France in the pool play, but they like destroyed everybody in the like. It wasn't really that big of a deal. They had a couple games where like a little tight, but not really.
Right. All right. Cajun Cardboard wants to know, would the 92 Dream Team have won the 2024 Olympics?
I don't know, man. These questions are impossible.
Yeah, the hypotheticals get tough sometimes, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say yes.
The play for modern medicine and like longevity improvements from that year to this year. Like Bird, I think was like in his 13th season that year. I think Curry's like in his 16th season, and he's looking like 36 points, and Bird is basically like can't play. So it's pretty interesting to see like the evolution of how long these guys can play. You know, you're comparing. You're like they're probably similar ages to today, but we feel like that team was much older because you know they weren't like at the peak of their powers. But so there's some of that going on. Like if you want to compare where they currently were in their careers to today, today would have the edge on some of it just because of like their health and longevity. But the overall careers of those guys is clearly much better.
Right. Exactly. Agreed. Okay. Clearview Cards says it's stupid to compare 2024 when their careers aren't finished. All right. So here's what I ask you, because that's fair. I do agree. Their careers are not done. On Team USA from 92, between Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, and Larry Bird, you have 3 top 5 all-time players. And I think between them you have 11 regular season MVPs and 12 finals MVPs, I think. So you tell me which 3 players by the end of their careers on the 2024 team are going to have 11 regular season MVPs when you combine them, 12 finals MVPs when you combine them, and will be considered top 5 all-time players. If you can give me 3 that you think that will be true for, you win.
Well, LeBron did his part. Those other 2 bums are.
Yeah. You do have LeBron. You definitely have LeBron. All right.
You don't think Ant is going to be? You don't think Ant's going to get half of those by himself?
He might, man. He's the next MJ.
I was like literally screaming at him in that game, like, get him out of the fucking game. This guy turns it over every other play. My God.
Yeah, it was a rough game. He's had some better games for sure in the Olympics than that one. All right.
Yeah, it was his worst game. I think at one point he led the team in scoring, and everyone got all excited about that.
Yeah.
Oh, Bill is not going to want to revisit some of his future bets because he had Anthony Davis leading the team in rebounding. It's actually LeBron. Shocker.
Nice.
Sorry, AD. You gotta play more than 10 minutes to lead the team in rebounds.
Oh, that's great. All right. From WTF Frankie podcast, should the NBA adopt some of FIBA's rules?
Like the rim one?
You like the rim one?
I like the rim one. I'm not a fan of you get fouled on a 3-pointer and then you get the ball back. I don't understand that one.
I wouldn't bring that one over.
I'm not a fan of there was the game, I think it was the France-Germany game. Like the ball like went out of bounds and the refs blew the whistle and like the shot clock timer went off and then like Tice just like randomly put it up and scored and they like counted the basket later. Did you see that?
Yeah.
They were like, oh, it's because like it was really weird and all the players were so confused. There's like a bunch of confusing stuff that I think some of these rules are like made up as they go.
Yeah, I think I might be with you on the goaltending rules, but otherwise, I like the NBA product a lot better. First of all, the NBA floor is a little bit bigger,
Yes.
which matters in terms of creating spacing. And then you combine the bigger floor with the fact that you have 3 in the key in the NBA. You can have defensive 3 seconds. You don't have that in FIBA,
right,
in international play. So international play is really hard to have superstars take guys off the dribble and go into the paint. And I think that's one of the coolest parts of the NBA product. So the spacing and the opportunities for stars to shine in the NBA is just a little bit stronger. So I think I like the NBA product better.
The floor is 2 feet longer in the NBA and 1 foot wider, but then they put the 3-point line in a bit to make up for that. And the ball is smaller, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, no.
I'm good with the NBA. Don't you get the feeling that the FIBA game is more of like a half court, like grinded out kind of feeling, and the NBA is much more fluid? Yeah.
Yeah. The NBA is more fluid, and the end of NBA games it takes longer, and that annoys some people, but it's way more dramatic. When teams have more timeouts in the NBA, the clock doesn't keep running after the ball goes through the hoop at the end in the NBA. Like, there's stuff that really makes the end of games way more interesting and tense in the NBA.
Jokic is the new Chris Paul. He's got these like he's like, hey ref, is this a ball or where am I? And he's like, I don't even know who I am. And he's like standing there, like the clock's running. Like Booker had to run up and like give him like hand it to him because they were standing around.
Yeah, and I'm happy to zag on this one because like everybody watches international and like we had that day of 4 games and like 2 of them were big upsets and it was really fun and everybody loves that. I'm zagging. I like the NBA product. Yeah. I think the NBA product is honestly it's much better, and it would be a disaster if we had international play year round.
I got the feeling that people wanted the FIBA rules just to like be pessimists and like let's just everything sucks in America.
Yeah. All right.
NBA is much better.
And finally, from JC2 Collects, what is the best Olympic sport to watch? Josh, I'm going to defer to you because I have not been watching.
I've been waiting for my moment. Let me fire off. Fire off some Olympics for you.
Let's go.
All right. I've watched everything. I've literally been watching everything. I was watching women's water polo yesterday. My eyes are.
Do you know the rules of water polo?
No, they have to throw the fucking ball in the net. It's easy. Okay. My eyes are in the back of my head. They're bleeding. Watching all this stuff. The best is track and field.
All right.
All the best events have been in track and field. The men's 400. Go watch that race. Incredible comeback. He was in 4th place with less than 100 yards to go. And he runs like an absolute maniac. Yeah, he's just like, he had a gold grill in his mouth, this guy. Men's 1500, incredible race. 22-1 odds. The guy who wins it comes storming back at the very end. Incredible comeback. He like beats these 2 all-timers. It's basically like him beating Jokic and Federer at the end. It's incredible.
Great.
I think swimming's overrated. I'm not a big fan. Like I can't see them, and I'm just seeing a lot of splashing and turning. I'm not sure what I'm looking at. I think water polo's fun.
Nice. Yeah. All right.
My other favorite, indoor volleyball. Have you watched that?
Yeah, I have not watched it, but I was listening to some podcasts, and one guy was like, why is indoor volleyball not a huge sport? He says like every play is just like the equivalent of a massive windmill slam dunk.
It is like these guys hit the ball so hard, like you wouldn't even believe it. Like every play is a bump set spike, so it's a little repetitive.
Yeah.
But I mean, basketball is repetitive, pick and roll, shooting. Like it kind of reminds me a little bit of basketball with like the sort of high flying. The guys are tall. They're all very, very tall guys, and there's a lot of athleticism. I think you probably like indoor volleyball.
Okay, all right.
Beach.
Is it over? Or do we still have some matches left?
The women's finals tomorrow, and USA versus Turkey, and the men's final I think is tomorrow as well. But the USA lost in the semis, and then there's beach volleyball, which is not as exciting because they're literally like stuck in sand and they can't. It's harder to move. I like all the running sports. I thought the triathlon was interesting. There's like a team triathlon. There's lots of good stuff. I thought the skeet shooting was fun.
Okay.
There's a lot.
What about the guy who doesn't close one eye?
Yeah.
You know, he just the hitman.
So there's like a bunch of special types of glasses that some of these guys wear that have all these like colored lenses and stuff. But the guy who got silver literally has just raw dog in it, just standing there and nothing. He wasn't having anything. He had his hand in his pocket and just firing them off. Silver medal.
Yeah. Yep, I saw a little bit of that. All right.
One take though.
Yeah.
The men's basketball is going to get 1 gold medal after 2 weeks of an agonizing tournament back and forth.
Love this take.
Track and field, you win a gold medal for 10 seconds of running.
Yeah, so let me loop this back into the ESPN's list of the greatest athletes, also now known as the Shilling for the Olympics list.
You're going to nail this. I lob this up. Yeah. You're going to crush this. Go for it.
Well, I'm just taking this take from you, but I love this take.
You got it, though.
And the take is that Michael Phelps has the opportunity to win tons of golds in every Olympics he competed in.
Yeah.
And the NBA athletes or the basketball athletes compete in a ton of events, too. They play tons of games and matches. And they have to go through a difficult elimination process, single elimination, and the most they can qualify for is 1 medal.
Yeah. Phelps can win like 7.
Yeah. You get the credit for that take, but it stuck with me. I love that. I think that discredits that stupid ESPN shill.
Yeah.
Olympic shill.
And Phelps is like really using that to pump himself up. He's like seen with all the celebrities at the Olympics. He's in all the he's the one that's like, oh, I listen to like, all this music to get me pumped up, and I love when the other team talks shit. It's like, dude, you like competed for 45 minutes across your whole career. It's okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's the nature of the sport. And that's what also bothers me about the medal counts when they're like, oh, certain countries have this many versus this, and it's like some countries are better at the team sports and they get 1 medal. Some optimized for table tennis and diving and they win 20 gold medals because there's fucking 17 events for those.
Nice. That's great. And then one last question now that I think about it. You were telling me what your favorite track and field event is, and I like that take too. Do you remember? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, okay.
So in track and field, there's obviously different distances, right? There's 100 meter, 200 meter, all the way up to the full-blown marathon. Yep. And the 100 meter is like bigger, stronger guys. And then the marathon's smaller, lighter guys, right? You got to be able to have more endurance, run further. But in shorter distances, you don't need the endurance. It's just pure power. But the 1500 is where the best of the best meet up, and it's like the ultimate distance. It's both. You need to be fast because in the last lap you got to be really fast, and you also have to have endurance because it is 4 laps. It's a pretty decently long run. I just love watching that race. There's strategy, there's tactics, there's speed, there's endurance. You have to have all of it, and those guys are the best of the best.
Love that. Okay, now what do you think about this? The 100 meter, it's big sport analogy is football.
Okay.
The marathon, its major sport analogy is soccer.
Yep.
And the 1500 is basketball.
I love it.
Yeah. Okay.
That's well done.
There we go.
Well done. Right. Football is like just a few plays, right? Like it's bang bang. Yep. It's quick. Couple touchdowns. Soccer, it's a marathon just watching that sport.
Yeah.
Basketball, you got to have it all.
Yeah, and it fits the physical profiles that you described. Football gets the big, bulky, short spurt. Soccer gets the smaller, marathoners.
If you watch the 1500, there'll be guys from Kenya. There'll be guys from Ethiopia that are good. There'll be guys from America that are good. Norway is good. Great Britain is good. You never know. Like right now, it's like Norway, Great Britain, America. Sometimes it's Kenya. It's amazing.
Nice. All right.
Just like the NBA.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Next topic up is box scanning, which we've touched on before. Won't rehash the explainers and stuff that we've done in previous episodes. And there's also other hobby content creators who have done better jobs in going into depth on it and explaining what it is. But we have some questions on it. The first one comes from Card Shop Dad, which is, what do you think the long-term impact on scanning boxes and packs will be for the hobby?
You're gonna make me go first?
I can just fire off a take on this quickly, which is just that it's gonna have to be fixed quickly, and it's assuming that it is as accurate as it is reported to be, and I don't know for sure if it is or not. But assuming that it is that accurate, it's the impact that it's going to have on older boxes and stuff is going to be irreversible. Probably, there's going to be a loss of confidence in the true randomness of those boxes and cases. Although I do think people will still have dealers and collectors that they trust, and if they say this hasn't been searched, they'll trust you and they'll believe you. Yeah. But there's going to just be a loss of confidence in the secondary market for that, for the older stuff. Fanatics and Panini are going to have, and all the manufacturers are going to have to fix it for new products, and they need to fix it immediately. And there are ways to do it. There are ways to put artifacts into the boxes and use other forms of technology to make it much tougher to use CT scanning. Also, there could be maybe an emerging third-party authenticator who just looks for uses a Geiger counter to look for traces of radiation. So there could be Geiger counter grading maybe coming out, but
to say that it was scanned or something. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, if a box has been CT scanned, it should have radiation.
Right.
But I don't know enough about the science of that. But the issue here though is confidence. The issue is confidence that you're buying a truly random product, and as marketed, as it says on the box. And then not only is the issue confidence, but then there's also you have to have confidence in the product itself and in the market for the product. But then the second issue is what happens if it does get revealed that certain shops or distributors or dealers or collectors or retailers, what if it does get revealed that they have been searching boxes and then they've been sending the crap ones to markets?
Yep.
That's terrible. That I think, in my opinion, not a legal opinion, not legal advice, but just sort of reviewing the general elements of fraud, I think I think several of those elements at a minimum are met, where you have the misrepresentation in particular. If somebody has scanned a box and they know what the contents of the box is, and then they don't tell you that, and then they try to sell it to you, and the box itself and the packaging and the art and the cover information says that it's random and it says that you have these chances to get these cards, but the person selling it knows that it's not, that's a misrepresentation. They are not. They have to tell you that they know the contents of this box, I think. So I think it could get really, really dicey, and it could be so not only can we lose confidence in the product itself, but we could also, if it gets revealed that people have been doing this, we could lose confidence in the people who are doing it too. So
yeah. All
right.
Good.
Then we got 4 more questions I'm just going to read together because they all talk about the same thing. Brohio 15 says, does CT scanning force manufacturers to sell direct? So in other words, no more distribution, no more shops. Art Connoisseur says, does CT scanning accelerate Fanatics direct-to-consumer push? Causewell says, Fanatics direct-to-consumer model, will this end up killing the local card shop? And Wookie Hunter says, if Fanatics takes their product direct-to-consumer, does it do anything good for the hobby? So, here's the topic. A possible solution is well, if we assume that Fanatics isn't going to scan their boxes, which is a fair assumption, then is this going to just result in people just the only way to get a trustworthy box of a new product is to go directly to Fanatics to get it?
Well, aren't like breakers and card shop owners just going to buy direct and then take them and funnel that into their breaking anyways and like put it back into the same system?
Yeah, but the risk is that how can you trust the breaker?
Yeah, the breaking is the one that I'm the most worried about, because the breakers already it's like 100% based on the confidence that they're not up to anything, and now if there's like this new technological way they can get around it sneakily, then breakers are the one at the biggest risk. I'm not as worried as everybody else because we've encountered stuff like this in the past with pack weighing and the whole GI Joe cards scandal. Like, we'll either have to figure this out through technology like you said, or we'll figure it out through some sort of system around confidence of individuals and people that we trust to be able to break through them, etc. I think it'll get worked out. I'm not, the fact that it is like technological jump for the fraudsters is scary, right? That's bad.
Yeah.
So we have to figure something out.
Yeah, we do. And then in terms of how it will impact the local card shop,
yeah,
I think this is why the solution can't be, well, everybody just go to Fanatics now. And there's two reasons why. Number one is that is going to really hurt card shops, which is not good. And then number two is not, if you can only go directly to Fanatics to get it, then you can't have a situation where somebody buys some boxes and just like wants to hold them and speculate on them and then sell them later if the product does well, whatever. In that world, like nobody's going to trust secondary market boxes, theoretically. People won't trust them. So it doesn't matter. If you could say, well, I got mine directly from Fanatics, okay, but I don't know if you scanned it or not.
Yeah.
So like you're going to have a problem for the secondary market for boxes. And if you do, fewer people are going to buy those boxes. So I think Fanatics and Panini and all the manufacturers, they need to solve this problem in a way that allows the current ecosystem and the current chain of custody of products en route to the consumer stays the same. So, okay. And then this is what you were speaking to a little bit. CardDC Sports Cards wants to know what happens to the hobby if breaking is outlawed. So what happens if breaking must go away because of CT scanning?
People are going to have to start collecting cards instead of gambling on them.
Nice.
I don't know. That one is such a hard question of like the butterfly effect of breaking breaks my brain because of like the concept that like breaking is sort of what, like you would say that breaking has like allowed you to pick up a lot of these McCaffrey cards, because if it wasn't for breaking, they might be stuck in places you couldn't expose them, and breaking does a really nice job of getting some of these one-on-ones out into the collector's hands. So I go back and forth on breaking, and I generally think it is pretty helpful, especially for that case.
Yeah, that's my selfish concern, is that without breaking, a lot of the cards that I want to collect might never get pulled. So I want those cards to come out. Like
they would be sitting in card shops, right? Or they'd be sitting with collectors, and all this like this notion of like, oh, I'll just hold wax and that's a better investment. There'd be a lot more of that going on without breaking. Yeah, a lot less wax, I think, would get opened without breakers. Don't you think that there needs to be a technology response from Fanatics and Panini, but that doesn't help for all the boxes that are already out? It kind of feels like this has got to be the market speaks by who we trust. What breakers do we know? What shops do we know and trust that they would never do this? And that's where we're just gonna keep putting our money in people we trust. And some of the breakers that are iffy are just gonna kind of get weeded out. Yeah. Yep. And there are some rumors. I think there's a YouTube channel that has been saying that he knows some of the names, or he's got video proof of some boxes that have been scanned, and then I mean, it's like what if we'll figure out who it was. What if you were really, really good hypothetically at trimming cards and you could like get away with it? It just, again, to me, like the risk of that seems similar to this. The risk of getting caught the one time and blowing up your whole operation, it just seems like it's not worth it to me. I'd rather. So I believe in humanity a little bit more than most people, that like this isn't happening as much as we think, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, well, if see, I'm a little bit skeptical of the idea that the company that scans these boxes is willing to provide evidence to a YouTuber that proves that certain cases and boxes were scanned and that certain specific big hits came out of them that can be traced back to a particular breaker who pulled it. I don't know why that the scanning company would release that information, because it's if they want to recruit future customers to use their scanning service, they're never ever going to use you if you're going to air them out for reasons unknown. So I just, or maybe they're coming clean, which is good. I do hope that they do come clean, because it would be great if we all could know who's been doing this. But I'm skeptical of the idea that they will do that. But that is supposedly what's going to be happening, is that we're going to figure out soon what some of the boxes that have been scanned are, and we'll be able to trace them to the people who scanned them. So hopefully we do, but I'm not going to hold my breath waiting for that.
But then that company's toast, right? Like you said.
I think so. Why would anybody ever use them?
Do you remember the Ashley Madison scandal? Do you know what that is?
There's a website, dating website or something, that leaked all the email addresses.
It's like a dating site, but it's based on, like anonymous, like cheating on your spouse. It's like
That's right.
The second they release, or that got leaked, their company was just absolutely destroyed. Because like, who's gonna go there if you're gonna, like, the whole point of this is that you don't tell anybody.
That's a great comparison. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I'm trying to think through like the Mikey and the Hobby brings up a question. Like, I'm just trying to think through like the risk reward for the person that is doing the scanning. Like, I'm struggling with that. Like, I know the hits here, so I'll just open it for myself personally, I guess, and then.
No, here's what. So like Mikey and the Hobby says, what's the advantage of a breaker doing this? If they kept the cards, then their customers wouldn't play anything. I think the thing that people are concerned about above all is breakers scanning boxes, and the boxes that have the good cards, they probably set some to the side to sell them to their customers through breaks and make their customers happy and make it seem like they get all the big hits. And then they'll probably set some to the side and keep some for themselves too. But all the boxes, the vast majority of the boxes in the cases which have duds, which have nothing, they're not going to keep those at all. They're going to sell those back to the market.
Yeah.
They're going to keep the best ones for their customers and for themselves, and they're going to sell the junk boxes on eBay or to a hobby shop or to plenty of other people who will buy boxes.
Well, can I be honest with you? Like, I have like zero confidence today that if I bought a random hobby box from anywhere that I would actually get a big hit. To just being honest with you,
Yeah.
Like, I just, as a person on the outside, one, just like mathematically, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get the hit. But two, I do kind of feel as a customer that like the volume that the breakers and everybody is getting, like, I just feel like I'm not going to get that Logo Man. So there's no point in me buying a random hobby box hoping to hit a Logo Man. I have a better shot at getting it through a break.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about it that way, but I think you're right.
Like, you bought that select case, and
yeah. Well, and like that's such an interesting topic, right? Because if I could somehow show that I bought that case from somebody who had scanned it,
yeah,
dude, I have a legal claim against them for fraud.
Right.
I think, in my opinion. So, that's why this is. Let's just see what evidence accumulates.
I saw the YouTube thing, and he was saying that this has been happening for years.
Yeah.
So to your point, like, it could come out that like there's already been because we sort of thought when we first heard this is a newer thing, and now it's like, man, what if stuff that I bought 2 years ago had this problem?
Exactly right. Yeah.
Reason number 736.
Right. Exactly. All right. Oh, and finally from Cage Lawyer, If you could CT scan any sealed box, what product would you scan? And so I get this. I see the trap that's been laid by a
I was
very
gonna
smart
say,
man.
I feel like I'm being trapped
Yes.
into like he's trying to get us to say what, or he's like what is the most likely to have already been scanned. Like, what are we, thinking like the criminal?
Yeah. And I'm not going to indulge in this question.
It is like a really morally a tough thing to be like, man, what if I was a criminal? Who would I kill? Like,
Right. Exactly. It's like that.
Yeah.
It's a variety of that. And so I wouldn't scan any boxes, Cage, because the fun is in the true randomness of opening a box and not knowing what's inside.
Like my friend Hot Sauce Sports Card says, scan D's nuts.
All right. This question comes from Brian, THD Sports Cards. He says, what are your thoughts on the Panini Optic NFL Downtown case hit fiasco? Is it an honest packing error, or is it a calculated move by Panini to take away some of the steam from repacks? They can't be happy that their product is not being opened front and center all the time.
Yeah. First of all, it was great meeting Brian at the show. I didn't know that's who that was. I just like put it all together at the show, so it was great meeting him in person and connecting all the dots. It's tough to connect real people to their Instagram accounts sometimes. Can you explain the story first? There was like they put a ton of case hit downtowns into a single boxes, and people were like getting 10 a box and stuff, right?
So exactly right. So historically, downtowns have been case hits. I'm not sure how long running that's been. And this year, according to Panini, in certain Optic first off the line boxes only, there were too many downtowns. And they said it's because of a manufacturing error, and that this error won't exist in normal hobby boxes.
Right. I'll probably believe that one, I think. I mean, I'm not seeing the risk for the trying to like sneak one past repackers. That seems too far. Too much has to go right.
Well, yeah, and I mean, plus they will look very stupid if it turns out they said, like, yeah, we didn't do this in the hobby boxes, and the hobby boxes comes out, and then they did. It's like, okay, well, we're gonna find out pretty soon if this is a lie. So, like that, one of the things I thought of was that, do you remember back like in 93, 94 Finest as an example, you could get the hot boxes.
Yes.
Where you could just like get boxes where you were only supposed to get a few refractors, but sometimes you get a ton of refractors.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the thoughts that entered my mind was maybe this is on purpose, like, but no, it was happening too much, and these are understood to be case hits in a normal year.
Was it basically every box of first off the line was having them, or was it like
I think it was like I think there was a group of boxes that had like tons of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't followed this super closely. You and I don't really live in the breaking or the box opening world.
So now the Pops are finally going to catch up to Kaboom.
Yeah. Right.
Downtown.
Right. And that is what some people were like rightfully pointing out. It's like, it's so frustrating as like collectors of cards when we signal by paying high prices for certain inserts that we like them a lot. So
they just print them, yeah.
The manufacturer's like, okay, you guys like these? Have a million of them.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, oh, you guys like Select? How about 7 101s now? How about that? I know you guys like it, and everyone's complaining they don't get a 101. How about you? You can all have one now.
Yeah. And here, how about a club level tier? I mean, you guys should love that.
And it's like the most razor's edge thing you could possibly do in the hobby is deciding how many of these different parallels and stuff to print, because it's like, obviously you want to have more for people to get, but you don't want to screw up the rarity. Like, it's a tough thing, but it's hilarious that it's come to this.
All right, we have one more cluster of topics as we're 90 minutes into the show.
Why didn't you get to all of them? What the fuck?
This cluster is Topps Chrome. Topps Chrome battle.
Oh,
Lonnie Walker Yeah.
I got pictures.
Yeah, okay, good. Lonnie Walker, the fourth collector, just simply would like to know, what are your thoughts on the new Topps Chrome basketball?
Give me a second.
So it's a 190 card base set featuring some of the top rookie, vets, and retired players in basketball. Look for classics as well as brand new inserts: Youthquake, Finesse, Destiny, Coast to Coast, Season's Best, as well as a bevy of new case hits such as Superfly, Rockstars, Let's Go, and others. 2 autographs per box, 12 packs per box, 12 boxes per case.
This is one, something like that.
Yep.
This is you and I have such an easy out with this, where we don't have to comment on the design and sort of like because it's unlicensed. This is just like a no-go. It's just a hard stop.
Exactly. Correct.
This is like a total ripoff of a 90s one. I mean, I do take issues with some of like the reuse of the same designs from the 90s, and some of these aren't reused, like this one. This is a new one, a unique thing, but I don't really want to comment too much on the design, but it's unlicensed. Who cares?
Well, on the topic of design, 2 questions came in on that. One from Lamine James, who says, let's discuss manufacturers recycling card designs, which is straight garbage and laziness. And then we have Mostly 90s Basketball Cards, who says, what are your thoughts on Fanatics slapping the Topps Chrome label on some rough Photoshop work? So people are not impressed out the gate with what the mock-ups look like. Yeah.
I mean, I saw some people like, oh, look, I spent 5 minutes in Photoshop and came up with something better. So there's a lot of that going on. Panini's had that issue with, like, the Wemby rookie. Like, Panini's fought that for a long time.
Yep.
That's why
this is totally par for the course. Like, when you're putting out a hobby product, like, it's especially the mock-ups, too. The mock-ups always look way worse than what the actual cards look like. Always.
Yeah, look at them. I mean, you don't like this one? Yeah, I don't take as big of an issue with that part of it.
Yeah.
It's unlicensed.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, it's a non-starter. Unlicensed is just never going to be a category that I look at in the ultra-modern era.
Do you think that they are testing the waters with some of these things before they get the license,
sure,
or they need to show revenue?
Both. I think it's definitely both. And I think also maybe if we can ascribe some good motivations, and not that we should or shouldn't, but maybe they feel like, hey, we need to get some basketball products, rookie year Wembanyama autographs out there for people, because his rookie year's over. He played the NBA season ended 2 months ago.
Right.
Whoops, maybe we better start putting out some basketball products that will call 23, 24.
Is this the base set then right here?
I guess. Yeah.
It doesn't look too bad.
No, although look at the RC badge. Some people have been critical of what it looks like. Yeah.
Like they're going to redo it or something?
I don't know if they're going to redo it, but people have said it doesn't look good.
People say, I mean, dude, like, people hated Panini. Now they're like, now they love it. That's just going to happen no matter what. Right.
Paxton Slap says there's no Jokic or Doncic in the base set. Perfect. Good.
It's unlicensed. You already have the out. We have so many outs.
Yeah, I did. I'm not doing any unlicensed. I'll just say that right now. Fanatics, I think, must realize that in doing this, they are leaving the door open to Panini to try and do the same thing when the licenses switch. And then I'm not going to be collecting Panini unlicensed. I don't do Panini draft picks cards either. Just my taste. There's nothing wrong with doing that for the people who do, but I will not be.
You don't want to collect Michael Jordan cards wearing golf clothes?
Not particularly.
Doesn't inspire much. joy of your memories of Michael Jordan?
Oh, no. No, it does not. All right. From Mike Pinkerton 50, we just answered this. Will you buy Topps Chrome basketball? No. And that's it on the Topps Chrome. All right. So now we get to the general pool of questions. This comes from WTF Frankie Podcast. Who is the next Desmond Ritter? Who is the quarterback that Josh will be lighting up this season?
Let's pull up this opening day starters list. Can we do that?
Okay.
Opening day starting quarterback.
If this could become an annual bit,
I think the new guy that I'm hearing about in the flipper world right now is Kyler Murray.
Yep. Okay.
You seeing that?
I've seen a little bit of that in the data. Yep.
Let me see here. He's a little older though, right? He doesn't fit the profile of what you and I like to go for, but Stroud obviously is the biggest one, right? Because he's gonna have some rookie cards that people can finally. Jordan Love, that's another one.
Yep. My man Brock is being hyped as well.
But these guys are already like good.
These guys are all those are three good quarterbacks. Love, Stroud, and Purdy.
Yeah, the Pickett Howell Ritter one was like I gotta scroll down a bit here.
Yeah. That one was almost too easy.
Yeah. Hold on, give me a second though. Oh, I know. I already got it.
All right.
Will fucking Levis.
Okay. All right. That's what we need. We need a little bit of this.
We're getting closer.
Yep. Yep. That's good.
They have to be second-year guys because these goddamn rookie cards don't come out quick enough.
Yeah, the problem though is that the flippers do have enough viable quarterbacks, so they don't have to fake it. There doesn't have to be a Kellen Mond pump this year.
Yeah, I think it's Will Levis.
Okay.
I'm looking at the starters in the AFC and NFC, and maybe Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, it's just not enough to see. But the Colts are they have a pretty good system. I think he should be okay.
Yeah, It was just way too, like you said, it was easy for us to be like, seriously, guys, Desmond Ritter, that's who we're gonna what Anthony Richardson is actually a top 5 pick, and there's some actual buzz. He's really good. He's
probably gonna be good. Yeah.
Aiden O'Connell.
Yep, that's decent.
Is that a good one? So I'll go Aiden O'Connell and Will Levis. Those are my.
Nice.
I've seen the Kyler Murray stuff. I still I have to like him a little bit.
Yeah, Kyler Murray's tough, man, because he's a quarterback who can take a team to the playoffs.
Yeah, they were 9-0 that one year.
Yeah, he's cool to watch. I like watching him play.
Have you watched Hard Knocks with the Bears yet?
No.
Are you going?
Oh yeah. Yep, I've just been moving around a little bit and haven't had a chance to sit down and watch.
I haven't heard much, but the Caleb Williams hype is already just so much. People are like, man, he's like the next MJ for Chicago, and
Yeah, why do we have to? We don't have to do that yet. If he's the next Jay Cutler, that'll be great.
They have the most insane offensive weapons system I've ever seen in football. That's obviously prisoner of the moment, but look at their fucking. They have DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, Cole Kmet, DeAndre Swift. They're absolutely loaded.
I've always been high on DeAndre Swift. My dad put me onto him very early on as a sleeper fantasy stud. And Odunze is supposed to be amazing.
He's their number 3 receiver.
yeah. So, but maybe he'll climb the depth chart throughout the season. But
a lot of people, there's some people that like him over Marvin Harrison.
Yeah,
exactly. You could make a case he's the best rookie receiver. Keenan Allen, who's been the best receiver in the history of the Chargers, coming over as their number 2. DJ Moore had a great year.
Whew. Yeah. I'm cautiously optimistic on the Bears. We'll see.
And their defense is pretty good.
Got one of the best quarterback prospects in a long time, so you
got to be excited as a Bears fan.
Yeah, dude, Bears fans are very excited. I know a few. Let me tell you.
I wish the Patriots would give Drake May some help. They're like cutting receivers. They're like, we're not trading for Brandon Ayuk.
Dude,
We're actually going to cut.
Ayuk said no. Ayuk was like, "Nah, I'm not going to the Patriots."
He would get a lot of volume there.
Yeah. I just love how Bill and House and the other guy, they're like, yeah, we think the Seahawks are going to win the division this year. They're like McCaffrey, he's going to be out for months.
But didn't you actually enjoy that someone came on and started like saying EPA and stats, and Bill was like, yeah, their home fans are really excited. Like their training camp looks good, and the guy's like, yeah. Also, they had a top 5 defense in the last 6. Like he was rattling off stats that were good for his argument, and Bill's like, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, they got the whole like Joe Burrow's blonde hair thing too. Like they got that going for them.
Yeah. Plus, they're just going to want it more. So.
Yeah, that whole thing. And he's like, well, their schedule's got a +2. Like he's giving you pretty decent stuff to go off of.
Yeah. No, that guy's pretty good. Yeah.
What was that? It was he's picking the Bengals because their schedule is like much easier than the Ravens.
Yeah.
For the 3 games.
Yeah, which makes sense. My GOAT is still probably Warren Sharp, but
I mean, anytime that someone contrasts Bill even just a little bit, it stands out. It's like, wow, this guy's like a genius. Freaking Einstein over here rattling off EPA stats.
Yeah, you're right. I do love that. I am glad that he was bringing that. Okay. All right. Let's try and mow down as many more questions as we can here. So this one's from TJ is online. He says, more 80s star basketball talk, please. With the last 4 months of confirmed 84 star MJ 101 sales, is it time that we proclaim this card to be the 1952 Topps mantle of our generation? I'm not forgetting the 86 Fleer, but putting it aside for this post. If yes, I assume this makes MJ's PMG green, the T206 Wagner hoops. What are your thoughts? PSA 7 101's last 8 sales range from about $27,000 to $66,000. PSA 8s range from 78 to 133. All right, so I have a take on this. Do you have any takes on this?
It's going to be the same as yours, but go. So lead us, and I can jump in.
I think it will be too. Okay, so no, first of all, I am happy for the 84 star doing well. I'm happy for the people who have developed arguments for why it is, in their opinion, Michael Jordan's rookie card. And I think there's some validity to them. And the 84 star has way fewer copies than the 86 Fleer.
Oh.
And I can see how people would think, and we don't need to run down the list of all the positive attributes of the 84 star or the 86 Fleer right now, but I can see how people would look at the 84 stars graded population. There's a little bit over 1,500 total copies graded, according to GemRate's Universal Pop Report. And then the 52 mantle, its Universal Pop Report has a little bit over 2,800 graded copies. So I can see people saying, yeah, that's pretty close. The print runs are pretty close. Here's the problem with the comparison. And this is why I'm not going to go along with this, even though I get I get why somebody could come to that conclusion. The 52 Topps mantle has a lot of cachet in this industry because it's Topps, because it's one of the great brands of all time. And Fleer is also one of the great brands of all time. The 52 Topps is not Mantle's rookie card. It's a second-year card. The 86 Fleer from Michael Jordan, some consider it a rookie card, but it's also not a rookie year card, but it's still attained the iconic status. And you have to examine the role that brand plays in that the product plays in that. So what I think the 84 star lines up with, I think this is the comparison most people would make, is the 51 Bowman. It's the card that's overlooked, even though it's first, and it will have diehards and purists who love it, but the brand share, in particular for Star, if you were to make a list of all the brands that produced cards of Michael Jordan during his playing days, Fleer, Skybox Premium, Upper Deck, Topps, Topps Chrome, Ultra, Flair Showcase, Hoops, and then Star. Where would Star rank among all those brands?
Right.
I think it's probably last.
Yeah.
Okay. So not taking away from Star, because there are strong arguments to support it. There's the limited print. There's the fact that it came out during MJ's actual rookie year. It is a fully licensed card. The borders are, the red border really looks nice with the red team color. There's lots of stuff to like about that card. But we don't have to make it the 52 Topps. I think there's plenty of prestige associated with it being with its analogy in Mansell to being the 51 Bowman. All right, that's my take, Josh.
I'm with you on everything. The only thing I'm going to add, it also really bothers me, like the whole team bag thing, that you straight up know what you're getting. And at least the 51 Bowman, I'm pretty sure it comes out of like a box, and 52 Topps comes out of a box. But the team bag thing has always been a little bit strange to me. And like you said, the Star brand doesn't even feel. It feels like it's some kooky, random SI for kids kind of deal.
Yeah, it's unusual, and so I recently finished Victor Roman's book, True Rookie Cards, and he sort of has hinted a few times that one of the main issues that he has with the 84 Star was that he was collecting cards at that time. He was in the Chicagoland area, and he couldn't find an 84 Star team bag. They weren't accessible. They weren't at the local shop. They were difficult for him to track down. And one of the things that some collectors feel like is really important to the status of being a rookie card is that the rookie card needs to be widely distributed.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is that people believe is important is that there need to be blind packs.
Yeah.
And so everybody has an equal chance. And so that if people know what the contents are, they can hold some back, and it becomes easier to, restrict or influence markets at the time of release. But then the other side of the coin is that, well, okay, here we are 40 years later, those things, who cares about those things now? What matters is that there's only a few thousand 84 Stars. It came out during his rookie year. It's fully licensed. It looks good. Who cares about the rest of it? That's the other side. So this isn't the topic, but the 51 Bowman Mantle, why is that not the rookie? It is the rookie. It is.
I know. I'll take this jump off point to point out to vintage people. I do not understand why the 52 Topps is the rookie and the better card or whatever. The 51 Bowman is Bowman's a decent brand. It has a lot of history to it in lots of sports. It's a product that came out of, you can get it out of a pack or whatever. So maybe there's something I'm missing with the 51 Bowman that will be exposed on, but
it could be. But my understanding is that the 51 Bowman is universally regarded as the rookie.
So the 52 Topps is just because the Topps is better and it's close enough.
It's the first ever Topps set.
Yeah. And it's got the whole dumping him into the sea thing going on.
Yep. It has that too.
I would love, if I was a Mickey Mantle collector, I would love to have a 51 Bowman. It's just so that I could just flaunt that. I have the better one. This is the actual. I would just rub that in the 52 Topps people's faces all day long.
Absolutely. All right.
And I think the pop on the Bowman is it's a pop 1, right? The PSA 10 is a pop 1. That's an insane card.
Dude, that's, yeah. And the PSA 9 pop is 9 or something like that. So
because the PSA 10 pop on the 52 Topps is 3.
Yeah.
Would you rather have the Bowman PSA 10 pop 1?
Yeah.
Sell for more money. I feel like it would sell for more money. Topps PSA 10.
Wouldn't that be nuts? That would upend the market, I think.
Pop 1 to me is just it's like that Julius Erving pop 1. It just is breaks my brain.
Yeah. All right. Let me see if we can smash a few more in here. Would be remiss if we didn't get to this one from Drake. Drake says, when I was at the National, I saw people showing their NFTs and or blockchain cards on their phones. First of all, bullshit. Who was showing NFTs and blockchain? Spinotron probably was. But other than that, how many people you see showing NFTs at the National, Drake? Drake continues, later when I was discussing trade options with someone for a card I wanted, I showed them some pictures of cards that I had stored in a company's vault. As someone who prefers physical collectibles and chuckles sometimes at non-physical collectibles, I felt like a little bit of a hypocrite because I was kind of doing the same thing. So my question, other than having access to the physical collectible through fulfillment and shipping, is there really a difference between cards in a vault and blockchain cards? Side note, I've now done full vault sweeps just because I want all my cards.
It's a huge difference, Drake. Huge difference. It's an actual physical item. They cannot be recreated in the past. These NFTs can be reprinted, recreated, transformed. I don't want to hear about blockchain. You can't modify the blockchain. Bullshit. It's just a database. I don't want to hear any of that stuff. So it's a big difference. You and I didn't have all of our cards with us. You don't have to have your cards with you at all times for it to be a physical real card. We didn't bring cards to the show, so we would have to show pictures of our card letter accounts. It's just
And I completely agree. Drake says, other than having access to the physical collectible, is there a difference? Well, that is one of the big differences, my friend.
That's a pretty big difference.
That's a pretty big difference.
Hey, Chris, would you prefer to get a ride in my real car or the car that I have a picture of when we go to the game tomorrow? Which do you want me to pick you up in?
Other than the fact that one is real and one isn't, what's the difference?
Yeah.
But if we grant that premise, no, there really isn't a huge difference between if the thing being physical is a completely irrelevant point, then they're both just pictures. That is correct. And this is why I think a lot of people were never really high on fractional and were never really high on vaulting cards, is because they don't want their connection to the item to be, scrolling pictures of it. They want the tangible, tactile object.
Shocking. So this is like people are going to be dating AI. Is that...
I mean, besides the fact that it's not a real human being, what's the difference?
I know, it's just like, let's just take that, besides the fact, what's the difference? Let's just take that up to the extreme.
No, but I want to give kudos to Drake for asking this question. It's introspective, it's contrarian.
One of the best.
And he just doesn't want to be, he wants to make sure he's not being a hypocrite, that he's being fair.
Read the third comment on that comment.
I don't have the...
it's like
I can
one of the best. It's one of the best replies I've ever seen on Instagram. I know, I'm setting the bar high, but it was like an ultimate troll.
Hold on, I'm scrolling.
Oh, I got it.
All right, let's go.
He says, at Chris HOJ, what should you do when someone has an NFT grail that you really want, but they're pricing it way too high?
Yeah, I saw that. That's great.
That's good stuff. Well done.
That was awesome. And Drake, you are awesome. And saw Drake at the National. He picked up one of his physical grails. And I couldn't be happier for him. So, always enjoy seeing Drake and hearing from Drake. Okay. 6 minutes to go here. Oh, what else can I squeeze in? God, so many questions. Dude, there's so many questions we didn't get to.
That's how you make your show seem popular. You just, gosh, there's so many questions.
I mean, here, this is all the questions that I wasn't able to get to.
Dude, I got so many DMs yesterday after.
It's still going. Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I really respect the 1990 notepad style you got there of organizing everything.
Thank you. Yep. That's as primitive as it can get.
I think you're supposed to copy paste all that, put it into ChatGPT, and have them summarize for you.
And give me answers.
I've seen commercials now where they're telling Einstein AI just summarizes for me in a PowerPoint, rendering middle management PowerPoint creations to be now generated by AI.
Yep. Okay. All right. Here's a question I want to get to. This one came in from Cajun Cardboard as well. We already read one question, but I did a little research. I looked at the data. We looked at the data. And Cajun Cardboard said this: I see Wembanyama is the consensus #1 fantasy player over Jokic at #2. What do you think about this, Chris?
Whoa, that's real?
Well, that's what I thought. I said it could be. I don't know much about fantasy basketball.
Yeah.
But let me look. And so I pulled up ESPN's 2025 projections. And it's for FBA, so fantasy basketball rotisserie. And maybe, I don't know if that's the standard style or not.
There's either rotisserie or head-to-head. They have different rankings, though.
Okay. Well, scoring type is either roto or points.
Yeah, so head-to-head is like, there's 9 categories, and you would win the matchup simply by winning 5 of the categories. So there's strategies around, like, cornering 5 of the 9 categories. So certain guys are more valuable.
Okay.
But roto, you can't really have any weaknesses. So guys that have glaring weaknesses aren't as valuable.
Okay. Well, here's the roto rankings. 1, Luka. 2, Jokic. 3, SGA. 4, Wembanyama. 5, Giannis. And if you go to points instead, then you have 1 Jokic, 2 Wembanyama, 3 Luka, 4 Giannis, 5 SGA.
Yeah, I see that one.
So I don't know what to tell you, Cajun, but I ain't seeing.
But still, I've been out of the fantasy basketball game for a long time. I would not have predicted he's even in the top 5, but I guess that makes sense given his like range of what he can do.
It does, and I'll say this: if Wembanyama lives up to that, because I'm assuming that the things that factor into fantasy scores are pretty similar to the inputs in like the advanced box score rankings that Basketball Reference has.
Plus volume, obviously. Like way more
volume. Yeah. But like box score rankings factor in volume too.
Yeah.
If he is the #1 fantasy player, then he's also probably going to be #1 or near #1 in categories like box plus minus, player efficiency rating, and win shares per 48. At least he will be in BPM and PER. And if that's the case, then he ain't just going to be #1 fantasy player. He's going to MVP next year.
Well, I know more on the. I didn't mean volume of like an individual game. I meant like games missed. Like generally, the younger guys who play 82 games have a lot of value. Like LeBron's number 17 because he's going to miss 20 games. Like
got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. All right. I can see that.
But so usually the younger guys just have a lot of like SGA and Tatum, guys that play 82 games have a lot of value in these leagues because, you know, otherwise you have to fill other spots.
All right.
Edwards, number 10. Şengün, number 11. Yeah, this list does line up pretty well with like advanced metric stats. That's why it's always funny that like fantasy gambling, like the stuff that where you actually have to crunch the numbers and figure out who's the best. It always the truth is revealed.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so Stiff was only able to be in the chat for a few minutes today, so we got like 5 or 6 titles early in the show. So let's see if we can knock out a title real quick. I'm sorry. We could do a whole other show with the questions, honestly, that we didn't get to. And, like, there was a lot of good collector questions in there that I would have loved to get to. So anybody who didn't get a question and who's still tuned in, if you want to DM me your question, I'll make sure, just be like, hey, my question, we missed it. Like, I'll try to get it on next week's show. Or I'll just try to answer it directly. if that's what you are interested in. But okay.
Is Fanatics Fest next weekend?
Oh yeah, it is. Okay, so that's a great point. So there won't be a crossover next week.
Yeah.
Sorry, you guys. Questions are screwed. Actually,
you'll be too busy hanging out with these guys. Let's go. If you don't get invited to a party and meet Jake Paul, you're not my friend anymore.
Dude, that's like kind of one of my goals. So
you guys already checked off the thing that I'm most jealous of. So it's like you can't even. There's nothing more you can do to. You guys got Sally's Pizza.
Yep, we did.
A pizza.
It was outstanding.
Was it the best pizza you've ever had?
My palate isn't refined enough to weigh in on that.
Just humor me.
No, I'm gonna say no.
Fuck.
But it was very good though. It was outstanding. I ate 80% of a medium pizza, and like their medium pizza is gigantic.
You're like, I know, Little Caesars. I'm still
like I had Papa John's a year ago.
Christina's like throwing shit at you right now.
And look, I'm not gonna pull an Embiid and switch sides. Like I'm loyal to Elliott's. Elliott's.
I hate this. I would like if you put Sally's in front of me, I would just be like, it's a 9. I haven't even had it yet, and it's the best. Like, it's too much. It would have to be really bad for me not to be like, it's amazing.
No, it's insane, man. Like the amount of the amount it gets burned is just perfect. Like it just gives just the right amount of taste without overwhelming the palate.
So do you like the tomato pies?
Nah, that's just not my style. Like maybe if I learn to appreciate that.
You need the cheese.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I just got a pepperoni pie. It was pretty good.
You need that fastball.
Oh yeah. Pepperoni pizza from Sally's is a fastball coming down a slow lane.
New Haven pizza is like I mean that's like my number one bucket list thing. They
have 3 insane pizza shops.
If someone was like, I'll pay for you to go to New Haven, hit all 3 pizza spots, or a full week paid vacation to Italy, I'd be like,
Love that. All right, let's do a title. Here's some of the options. Needle in a haystack. What's that referring to?
You were like, I always tell everybody I'm not going to find anything, but I actually did.
Branch off into subcommittees. That's just one of those random ones that's always going to get me going. Groat. Instead of because I fucking mispronounced the word goats. The secret doors.
Oh yes, that's a good one.
The secret doors, okay.
Yeah, because like that was like low key the saving grace of the when I had to go to the bathroom and it was like bad.
Those who know. It'll be a great tease that will like frustrate people who don't know what it's about, and we don't explain it in the show either. I love that.
I think I did wait in the normal bathroom line once, and I probably almost died.
Dude, I was in the line with you, I think, for one of those times, and like
it's like you can smell it and feel it. It's so bad.
There was something crazy that happened too when I was in there. I don't even want to talk about it on the show.
Like we walk in, we're just like, all right, let's go to the bathroom. Like, oh my god, I can feel the heat of the grossness of it. Oh my god, it's so gross.
And the floor is wet as if this was a hotel adjacent to a beach. And just people are walking in there, because they were swimming. No one was swimming, folks.
It's like, what am I standing in? You don't want to know.
Yeah, Christina knows. Okay.
You need like 10. It's a good thing you didn't bring your nice shoes, your new Ons. It's a good thing.
Indeed.
You would have had to burn those.
Yeah, I am thinking about starting a trend when it comes to the Ons. Like, I feel like I'm going to start wearing those. Maybe some important people pick up on that.
You'll be at the front of the line of that trend. You will be the first.
Okay, then there's 2 more titles. One is Batcave.
That's like, you were like, you built a mansion on this. Let me just build a bat cave with your take. Or let me build a garage in the backyard.
Okay, that's right. And then Besides the Facts. As a shout out to Drake. Okay. Secret Doors, I think that works.
If you like the other one better,
I like Secret Doors. I'm good with that. Is there
a door emoji?
There better be.
Does Christina rock in the ons like full time now?
Yeah, we were walking around Mystic, Connecticut today, and she got pebbles jammed in the crevices on the bottom of her ons.
We found the flaw.
Yep. Yeah, it's a big problem. It's a real big problem. I had on this is crazy. I have a pair of Jason Tatum's.
Oh. Like ironically?
No, dude, no. This is before I knew. This is before I was hating on him. Like I just needed a pair of basketball shoes. And...
Hold on. I gotta see what these look like. Also, they're pretty good looking shoes. He has a commercial with Coach that was playing during the Olympics, and it was like, here's him on the bench, go to commercial, here's him holding his watch, and he's like,
Right.
Oh, yeah, is it these ones?
Let me see. Yeah, but they're all white. But yep, that's it.
Like something like that?
Yeah.
Those are good looking shoes. They're MJ shoes, so they're cool looking.
Yeah. Yeah, but so I was wearing those, and so I'm good.
So MJ's got Westbrook, Luka, and Tatum.
And Zion, and more. I think there's more, too.
So MJ is shooting 50%.
Better than his tenure as an owner and GM.
Hey, didn't he make like a crap ton of money on that deal?
Maybe. That could have been. And like some think he finally got the Brandon Miller pick right. That was his final move, was drafting Brandon Miller.
He's like, I leave you with my best pick ever. Kwame Brown, I thought that was my best, but no.
Right. All right. Yes, Christina does rock this. Yeah, but Christina doesn't want to scuff up the SpongeBob Jokic's. So.
Nice.
All right. See you guys possibly in 2 weeks.
CY Card Ladder is the most respected sports card analytics app on the market. We have virtually every card in our system. If the card you are looking for ever sold on one of these platforms, you can find it using Card Ladder's sales history. Easily find recent comps and get a better estimate what your cards are worth. CY Card Ladder is the most trusted and the most reliable sports card analytics app on the market. We know what you want, because Card Ladder was created by collectors for collectors. Join the innovators, not the imitators. Card Ladder, constantly innovating. Try it for free. CY Card Ladder is the industry leader in sports card data. Card Ladder. We're just getting started.